Yes.
Good evening. Welcome to the Kent County Levy Court combined meeting for this evening. We're meeting in the Levy Court caucus room, room 203. This is Tuesday, May 9th, 2023 meeting. Before we officially open the meeting, the bulk of the meeting, I'll turn it over to the county administrator, who will explain how those that wish to join us by phone and or WebEx can do so. So, sir, I'll turn it over to you for a few minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. This meeting is being offered in person at 555 Bay Road, Dover, Delaware, in room 203. We're also making it available for people to join us via the internet through WebEx. Participants can either join us by computer or by telephone throughout the course of the meeting. There will be opportunities for public comments from those attending in person or online at the designated times. For those of us joining by phone, press star 3, which will raise your electronic hand so our operator can identify you and bring you into the meeting. Pressing star 6 will mute and unmute your line. If you're on a computer, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that the hand and microphone icons, and we ask that you use those at the appropriate time. We also ask that all comments from our guests be preceded by stating your name and address for the record. Any comments taken during our public meeting testimony will be sworn by our attorney. This meeting is being recorded and will follow all the rules of procedure adopted by the Levy Court, as well as the Mason's Rules of Order. Mr. President, back to you.
Thank you. Some of you joined us at 6 o'clock for our workshop in the caucus room. We left there to come here to do our meeting, but after the meeting, we will be going back to the caucus room to continue our workshop. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order. I'll ask Commissioner Angel for the invocation, Commissioner Hall for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Sweeney for a moment of silence for our troops and first responders. All rise, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your wisdom and guidance in doing the work of the county. We ask this in all faiths and all religions of faith. In your name we pray. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence to honor our military, law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, and other first responders who have lost their lives in the line of duty protecting our lives or our way of life. So please remember all these individuals who died in the line of duty, as well as keeping their families in your thoughts and prayers as they deal with the loss of their loved ones. Chief Warrant Officer Christopher Rama from Oneonta, New York. Chief Warrant Officer Kyle McKenna from the Colorado Springs, Colorado. Warrant Officer Stuart Wayment from North Logan, Utah. These three military active members lost their lives in a helicopter training accident in Alaska. And it just goes to show you that even without us being in any active war, these military and active fighters put their lives on the line all the time. Deputy Sheriff Katie Leasing from St. Croix Sheriff's Office in Wisconsin. Police Officer Robert Schisler from the Deptford Township Police Department in New Jersey. And Detective Jacob Bowe from the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. At this time, let's have a roll call to determine quorum, please. Ms. Tanaka.
Mr. Angel?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Present.
Mr. Hertz?
Present.
Mrs. Maston? Absent. Mr. Scott?
Present.
Mr. Sweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pepper?
Here.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. We do have a quorum for this evening. Need a motion on adoption of the agenda.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
That motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please, Mr. Tanaka?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston? Absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. This evening's agenda has been adopted. Consent agenda 23-05.
Mr. President?
Mr. Sweeney.
Sir, I'd like to ask that we remove the building inspection plan review RFP from the consent agenda for tabling at, I guess, during the new business.
Table to the next committee meeting.
Well, it's on the consent agenda right now, so I believe, Mr. Attorney, that we would have to remove it from consent agenda to new business and then make a motion to table?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'd like to do.
So you move it to,
New business tonight, under Mr. Angel as item number 2. You okay with that, Mr. Angel? Because my request at that point will be to table it for further review.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I have one also.
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to remove the biosolids capacity expansion project, the belt dryer system agreement amendment, and table it till next week so we can review events that happen today and be more informed for the commissioners next week.
Okay, so we'll do the same thing with that as we did for Mr. Angels. Put that under your committee this evening?
Yes.
Okay.
With that, move to approve consent agenda 23-05 as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Sweeney with 2 amendments, second by Commissioner Scott. Any questions? I don't see any. Can we have roll call, Mr. Tanaka?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston? Absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the consent agenda for this evening, 23-05, has been approved with 2 amendments. Okay, this evening we have 3 presentations on the agenda. The first item is Resolution 3992, Pavilion Naming at Brecknock County Park for Mr. Harry Van Sant. Mr. Angel?
Thank you, Mr. President. Resolution 3992, Pavilion naming at Brecknock County Park for Harry Van Sant. Whereas Harry Van Sant was a Kent County Levy Court employee for 36 years, including 21 as Director of Community Services, and whereas Mr. Van Sant was instrumental in the acquisition and development of Brecknock, Browns Branch, Big Oak, Hun Nature, Lebanon Landing County Parks, and the St. Jones River Greenway, and whereas Mr. Van Sant was prominent supporter of funding for the indoor Kent County Recreation Center, which was eventually built at Kessering County Park in 2016, and whereas a special committee appointed by the Levy Court reported a consensus of approval to name a pavilion of Brecknock County Park after Mr. Van Sant's pursuance to Kent County Policy P4-3.1, designation of names and naming honors, and now, therefore, be it resolved that Kent County Levy Court moves to authorize the naming of the pavilion at Brecknock County Park after Mr. Harry Van Sant and to affix appropriate signage to that end, and be it further resolved that this resolution be hereby incorporated in the official minutes of May 9th, 2023 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court.
Very, very well deserved, and second the motion.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, this is Resolution 3992. We do have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Unless there's any questions, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel,
Most definitely, yes.
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Hertz,
Yes.
Mrs. Maston, absent, Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney,
Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Pepper.
Without a doubt, yes, very well deserving.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals Resolution 3992 has been approved by Levy Court, and we'll turn this over to Mr. Shepherd for signage and anything else that we need to do to complete this, and ceremony to be announced at a later date, correct? All right, good enough. All right, next item, item number 2, Resolution 3993, proclaiming the month of May as Community Action Month. That is a resolution. We need to have that read into the record. Ms. Tanaka?
Whereas community action connects individuals and families to approaches that help them succeed and promotes community-wide solutions to challenges throughout our cities, suburbs, and rural areas. And whereas community action builds and promotes economic stability as an essential aspect of enabling and enhancing stronger communities, which in turn promotes self-sufficiency, ensuring that all Americans are able to live in dignity. And whereas community action has enhanced the lives of millions of people across America by providing essential, life-changing services and opportunities such as affordable housing, economic development, health care, energy assistance, natural disaster relief and recovery, and whereas community action already serves 99% of America's counties in rural, suburban, and urban communities, and because it is right, because it is wise, and because in our hearts and minds we believe it is possible, we will conquer poverty in our lifetime. And whereas community action will continue to implement innovative and cost-effective programs to improve the lives and living conditions to the impoverished, continue to provide support and opportunities for all citizens in need of assistance, and continue to be a major voice of reason in establishing welfare system reforms. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kent County Levy Court hereby proclaims May 2023 as Community Action Month in Kent County, Delaware, in recognition of the hard work and dedication of all community action agencies and the first state community action agency in the state of Delaware. Be it further resolved that this resolution be and hereby is incorporated into the official minutes of the May 9, 2023 meeting of the Kent County Levy Court.
Okay, that is the resolution. I need a motion, please.
Move to approve Resolution 3993.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Sweeney to approve, and a second by Commissioner Angel. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals Resolution 3993 has been approved by Kent County Levy Court. Do we have anyone here this evening to accept this? Can you come on down, please? Rest of the commissioners, you can come down.
Yeah, you're way down there.
How are you? Thank you. We're fortunate to be able to recognize the Community Action Month every year, so we're very pleased that you're here this evening to accept this resolution from Levy Court, and thank you for everything that you accomplish. So, and I'll pass this microphone around and be thinking of what you're going to say, because you'll be able to talk to.
Thank you very much. We need more people like you to do this for our community. Thank you.
It's an honor and a privilege to be able to present this, so thank you for everything that you do.
You know, what's a shame is that we only do this 1 month a year. We know that community action needs to happen every day of the year, 12 months a year, 365 days a year. This is our attempt to recognize you and your organization for what you do, and we thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate it.
Job well done. Thank you very much. Now it's your turn.
Thank you. So I bring greetings from our Executive Director, Bernice Edwards, and our entire Board of Directors. And I can say, as First State's Director of Housing and Community Development, many of you are in our communities with us, doing the work, making the change, and that partnership is invaluable.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
We'll hold this. Thank you. Okay, we have another item, Employee of the Month for May. Ms. Tanaka, can we have you read that into the official minutes of Levy Court, please?
Kent County Department heads have selected Karen K. McGonigal from the Finance Department as the May 2023 Employee of the Month. Karen is an account analyst in the tax office and originally started with Kent County in 1989 as an account clerk 3. After serving for 16 years, she left to raise a family until returning on August 24, 2020 as an account specialist 3. Since then, Karen has been promoted twice to her current supervisory position. Her primary duties include managing and coordinating the daily tax office processes and staff, administering tax account adjustments, preparing quarterly and annual tax billing, and assisting with customer requests and inquiries. Karen's ability to thoroughly research account information on multiple software systems for the county's monthly tax reconciliation is one of her numerous strengths. Karen is highly regarded by her coworkers and possesses a wealth of financial knowledge, which she shares on a daily basis. She skillfully handles the most difficult of taxpayers and puts everyone at ease with her quiet demeanor. According to Finance Director Susan Durham, Karen's exceptional attention to detail and understanding of the tax processes has proven to be a great addition to the office. Her previous financial experience, willingness to learn new methods, and ability to excel enhances the level of customer service provided to the constituents of the county. Congratulations, Karen, on the job well done. And she resides in Commissioners Hertz and Peppers districts. The tribute reads, Kent County Levy Court, May 2023, Employee of the Month, Karen K. McGonigal, on this, the 25th day of April, 2023. The Levy Court of Kent County, State of Delaware, does hereby recognize Karen K. McGonigal, Account Analyst, Department of Finance, Tax Office, for her exceptional initiative, dedication, and conscientiousness in the delivery of services to the citizenry of the county.
All right. Karen, congratulations. Wow. He's being bad? Yeah. Yeah, really. Karen, thank you for all your hard work. Mrs. Durham, she runs a tight ship, and that's good because it keeps all of us out of trouble. And I appreciate whatever part you play in that. So congratulations. And of course, this puts you in the running for Employee of the Year, which we'll be announcing at the end of the year at the annual holiday festival. And good luck.
Yes, Karen, thank you for coming back. Taking care of the family, I understand that too, but thank you for coming back. And as Susan has said, exceptionally employee. So you keeping her happy keeps us happy too. So thank you.
Thank you for everything that you do. You guys have a lot on your plate, and we really appreciate all the energy and effort that you put towards it.
Goes that way, doesn't it? Oh, we're out of order here, folks. Do I? There you go. So anyhow, you're mixing me up here. Karen's done a really great job for us. She got her initiation today into Munis. We just started tax, and she'll be the lead in that. So that's a big job, but she's got quite a good skill set and will be able to handle it. She's always willing to assist anybody, has great customer service skills, so she represents everything that you guys are looking for and does a great job. We appreciate her very much.
Karen, that says it all right there. Just the fact that your boss says they have a lot of respect for what you bring to the table. I'm a numbers guy, but I have respect for people like you who do nothing but work with numbers all the time. This is well-deserved. Congratulations, and thanks what you do for the county.
Well, congratulations, and you're becoming another one in a long list of employees of the month from the 6th district, so we must be pumping out some great employees, so congratulations.
Yeah, but they're all from mostly from the 6th.
Just congratulations, very well deserved. Appreciate everything that you do for the county.
Well, to follow on what Commissioner Scott said, to be chosen as the Employee of the Month from the department that's probably under the most pressure and doing the hardest work right now, congratulations and job well done.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I enjoy working at the county, for Kent County, and for the finance department. We have a great team, and I enjoy working for Susan.
She paid you to say that, didn't she? That's, yes, you hold that and we'll get a picture.
She's doing pretty good. She's hanging in there.
And just whine until it works.
Okay, and we do have an introduction this evening.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Commissioners. We do have one new employee. Only hired one last month after several months of hiring multiple, like 4 or 5, 2 pages worth, I think, one time. But we did hire one during the month, and to do that introduction is the Kent County Recorder of Deeds, Eugenia Jean Thornton.
Thank you. Well, maybe it's only one, but he's a good one. Before I introduce him, I'd like to update you on what happened to my last deputy. As you know, he was a college student at Dartmouth, and he did have to go back to college, but before he went back to college, He impressed everybody with what he was doing here at Kent County, and he was hired to be the executive director of A Better Delaware, which is a nonprofit. And that is a work-from-home job, so he's going to be a college student and also continuing to do A Better Delaware. So pretty impressive, and I know we're all very proud of him. So not to be outdone, and before I start, I want to make sure that the county administrator and the public safety guy in the back and anybody that might be here from the Planning Commission, please close their ears and do not listen to this, because I'm afraid that they will try and steal this man away from me. This man has worked for the state of Delaware for the past 32 years. His most important position was working for the Department of Technology and Information as a senior application support manager. He was responsible for the Geographical Information Systems applications for law enforcement. One was for traffic accident location, the other was for traffic accident reporting. Incident locator tool and crash analysis reporting system were just two of the things he worked with. His duties included system upgrades and enhancements, managing vendors, and supervising users of these applications. Now, previous to that, still working with the state, he managed the visualization section for the road design department. His duties there included purchasing equipment, preparing yearly budget, and presenting the visualizations at workshops and public meetings. And other jobs included managing as many as 3 consulting firms at one time. Each firm could have as many as 2 or 3 ongoing construction projects in different stages, that is, the design and construction. And he also supervised and maintained detailed payroll records and preparing monthly reports for the consultants' projects and their time. He was responsible for setting up the consultant agreement contracts and approving or rejecting the memorandums of understanding. In those roles, he was a known entity to several people that are here in Kent County. Besides myself, he worked with Commissioner Jody Sweeney. He worked with Kelly Pitts, our PAO, and he worked with RPC President Billy Jester. And then just yesterday, when H.K. Broad was the Register of Wills was in the building, he stopped over and we got to talking, and it turns out that H.K. used to be a mailman, and he delivered mail to Darren's family home when Darren was a kid in Harrington. So, ladies and gentlemen, and the citizens of Kent County, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce you to the new Deputy Recorder of Deeds, Darren Dell.
Welcome.
Thank you, Gene. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity, and all of you for giving me the opportunity to work with the county. I've been here just over a month now. I've got a great staff. The Recorder of Deeds section is wonderful. I've made a lot of new friends while I've been here, and I hope to continue for quite a while. So thank you.
Well, welcome. Hope you're here for a very good while.
Oh, yes.
Darren, welcome aboard, and it's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you. One more presentation or introduction this evening. Out in our audience, we had the mayor of the great town of Smyrna, Delaware, Mayor Robert Johnson. Welcome, Mayor. Good to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. Okay, this evening we have no public hearings scheduled. There's no old business. There is new business. First item falls under Commissioner Angel, and it's conclusion of paramedic response measures. Sir?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Quayla, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Angel. As commissioners are fully aware, both the national, the state declaration of emergencies are about to conclude. Everything's coming to the end for the most part on Thursday. And in response to the pandemic, the Levy Court put in place a number of processes and procedures to deal with it. So it seems an appropriate time for the commissioners to conclude all of those procedures, processes, and return to normal operations. Obviously, if anyone does happen to contract COVID, they should take the normal precautions like they do with the flu. They should certainly stay home. They should mask up, and we'll certainly encourage that. Some good news from our health insurance provider, DVHT Aetna, is that they will continue to cover testing and treatment and immunizations for COVID-19 through the end of the year, even though not required by the federal government any longer. Back to you, Commissioner Angel.
Thank you. Any commissioner comments, questions?
Just make a correction. I think I read conclusion of paramedic response measures, which made no sense to me, but now I see as pandemic response measures.
Okay. Effective immediately, I move to end all special COVID-19 pandemic response measures previously adopted by the Levy Court or implemented under County Policy 8-3, Epidemic Contagious Disease Response.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Scott to conclude our pandemic response measures. Any questions on the motion? I don't see any. Ms. Tanaka, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston? Absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion passed.
Thank you,
Thank
Commissioners.
you. Item number 2, Commissioner Angel.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, but at this time, I'm going to make a quick statement, but have Mr. Sweeney chime in too. I know I had questioned this at the last meeting for why we were changing, and I know the rates were already out there, what the person is already giving, and the other person that underbid them. So, but at the same time, there's not a big staff for the one we picked, and the one I was hoping to come back in has a larger staff to help the county, and that's what I was hoping for. But at this time, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Sweeney and see what he has to say too.
Thank you, Commissioner Angel, and I completely agree with those comments. I would have a question for Ms. Kiefer, real quick. Hi, Ms. Kiefer. The current contract we have is through the end of the fiscal year, correct?
Yes.
So June 30th? So if we bring this back at a business meeting in June, because considering that there's going to be some commissioners absent for at least the week of the 23rd, which is our next business meeting. So I'd like to bring it back table this until June. I don't know, Lori, when's our business meeting in June? The first business meeting?
Mr. Sweeney, yeah, I think it's the 13th, and I won't be here. I'll be in Washington, D.C. that week. The first one is June 3rd. That's a committee meeting.
You'll be here for June 3rd?
I'll be here for June 3rd.
And we have a combined meeting June 3rd to consider this?
Are you back, Mr. President?
No, our committee meeting is not on June 3rd. That's a Saturday.
The first business meeting is June 13th.
June 13th, and you won't be here for that one, right? Alan?
Yes, you're right. June 6th. I'm gone the 13th. So
June 6th, I'll be here, and so will
June 6th will
Commissioner
be
Maston.
Right.
Combined then on June 6th.
June 6th?
Okay.
All right, that works for me. So, thanks, Ms. Kiefer. I move to table building inspection and plan review RFP until June 6th, before the end of the year, and our contract with the current contract is in place until June 30th.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any questions? Mr. Hall?
Just asking why We went through a bidding process. Someone was selected. No reason to move forward except that we want to talk about it more, debate it more.
There are some questions that came up concerning the RFP, and I want to investigate those that I did not get an opportunity to investigate before voting tonight.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Tanaka, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Angel?
Ken, did you have a question, sir?
Question?
It's just that, and I'm still learning our procurement rules, but when a request for proposals is done, there's normally a methodology, there's a recommendation given. The issue that comes up is if the board wants to move in a different direction, that creates a potential for someone to appeal the bid award, because you can imagine a situation where someone gets to the last minute and they say, oh, well, even though this proposal scored the most points, the board wants to move in a different direction. The person who is no longer receiving that, it calls into question the procurement process. I just don't know our procurement regulations well enough to speak on that, but before the meeting to which this will be tabled, I'll have it. But normally my recommendation would be, if there's an issue with the procurement, to reconduct the RFP. But it's unusual for that recommendation to be overturned. It would be more normal for it to be remanded and say, well, for whatever reason, the board's not happy with the outcome. Then there's a do-over, because it's unusual if we've gone all the way through to make that recommendation based on some kind of independent evaluation for there to be a change at the board level.
I agree with what he said. There's no assurance that we're going to move in a different direction, but he'll have our marching plans when we come back.
Sounds good.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
No.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 5 yeas, 1 nay, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion passed by Levy Court. And now we'll continue on to Commissioner Hertz. You have a couple introductions and added item number 3, biosolids.
Yes, Mr. President. Number 1, the introduction of ordinance LC 2311, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a Kent County general obligation bond in the amount not to exceed $722,856 for the Whispering Pines MHP Septic Elimination Project, Phase 2, and authorizing all necessary actions connection therewith for public hearing on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023 at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Item number 2, introduction.
Introduction number 2, introduction of ordinance LC 23-12, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of up to $3 million general obligation debt for Kent County for air blower optimization and plant-wide generator phases for the wastewater treatment facility capacity expansion and nutrient removal project, and certain other wastewater treatment plant upgrades, and authorizing all necessary actions in connection therewith for public hearing on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023 at 7 p.m.
Thank you for that introduction. Item number 3.
Item number 3 is an item that was on the consent agenda tonight and that we're pushing back to next week. Biosolids Capacity Expansion Project, belt dryer system with BCR/SEVAR AG Agreement Amendment for consideration at the next business meeting on May 23rd, 2023 at 7 p.m.
So that's a motion to table until next week.
Motion to table till next week.
Second.
Any questions? If not, Mr. Tanaka, we have roll call on that, please.
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals motion passed. Commissioner Maston is not here this evening. Commissioner Angel, will you do her reintroduction, please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. Reintroduce ordinance LC 23-08, an ordinance to amend the comprehensive plan map designation and official zoning map of Kent County, Delaware, pursuant to the provisions of Kent County Code Volume 2, Chapter 205 zoning, Article 3, Section 205-8, and Section 205-9, Article 28, changes and amendments, effective December 1st, 2000, as amended, for public hearing on Tuesday, June 27, 2023, at 7 p.m.
Thank you. I'll ask Mr. Eliason, do we have a need for a executive session this evening? Thank you. Then, Commissioner Angel, I need you to do the motion on item number 2 under other business.
Move to go into executive session, a meeting following the committee meetings of May 16, 2023, for preliminary discussion on site acquisition for publicly funded capital improvement, legal strategy session regarding collective bargaining, or pending or potential litigation and personnel matters pursuant to 29 Del Code 10004, B2, 4, and 9.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney. Any questions on that motion? I see any. Can I have a roll call, please, Mr. Tanaka?
Mr. Angel?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Maston, absent. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pepper?
Yes.
Mr. President, roll call reveals 6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. Roll call reveals the motion passed. Moving on to information items. Any commissioners have any informational items this evening? I don't see any. Any public comments this evening? Any public comments? Mr. Mayor.
Good evening, Robert Johnson, Mayor Smyrna. I just come here today to see how meetings are supposed to be run. I come here to get a refresher with things that I could take back to Smyrna. And I like the idea of the fact that you call for roll call for everything on the agenda, which we don't do all the time. We only do that for like specific ordinances. So I'm just glad to be here so I can see how meetings are supposed to be run. Thank you.
All right, you go back and tell your council that's what you did tonight.
Okay.
Thank you, and you're welcome here anytime, sir. All right, any commissioner comments? I don't see any. I need a motion to adjourn back to the workshop.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Angel, second by Commissioner Sweeney to adjourn back to the workshop. All in favor, aye. We are adjourned back to the workshop. We will not be coming back into this room.